I'm Manny Blake, and this is An Edge. And in a few minutes, you're going to discover how to bring out the edge in you for all you nice guys out there in order to eradicate weak male behavior and be your most attractive self when it comes to women. I'm going to show you this without you having to put on an act or being incongruent of who you really are and not lifting a finger in order to change yourself. Here's your dilemma. You constantly end up in the friend zone with women because you are simply just too nice. You have tried every source of attraction material out there, and it simply has not worked. You have this limiting belief that women go for assholes, and because you are a nice guy, every girl will reject you. Let's face it, nobody likes change. And when it comes to women, we've all heard this expression before. Nice guys finish last. Unfortunately, there is some truth to this expression. There are several key symptoms in the so-called nice guy on why this expression is true. One of the key symptoms that the so-called nice guy suffers from is called approval seeking. I will elaborate on this concept in a few minutes. Just a bit of a fair warning, I don't know how long this video will be online. Since I'm giving away my very latest ideas in this video, I may end up making this a paid presentation. So watch this now until the very end while it's still online and free. Before I elaborate on approval seeking, I'd like to share a quick story with you. What I'm about to share with you was undeniably the worst day of my life. Yet it's one you absolutely need to hear because it will help you identify the weak behavior patterns that the so-called nice guy goes through and help you discover how to bring out the edge in you. Deal? Cool. I'm not the same person who I was 5 years ago. I think you guys need to know how deep the rabbit hole I went before discovering the stuff I'm going to share with you, which allows me to live this amazing life today. I remember it was June 20th, 2009 on a beautiful sunny Saturday afternoon, and my friend Sean was celebrating his 25th birthday. It was an even ratio of guys and girls, and I was looking forward to meeting some new women. He set up a limo ride to depart from New York City with a group of 16 of us to go to a casino in Connecticut called the Foxwoods. I remember I just bought this really exotic purple button-down shirt from Express specifically for this occasion. It was a gorgeous sunny June day that turned into my worst nightmare. And the reason I remember this is going to be really clear in just a moment. I was on the verge of having a career change, which felt really good. I arrived at the meetup spot and handed my friend Sam $50 for the limo ride and drinks. I like to describe how my friends treated me before I get into the bad part, which will be in just a moment. I was always very nice to everybody on a general basis. I had other people's concerns in the back of my mind and wanted to make sure that they were comfortable before me. I would be very giving, and people knew this about me. I offered rides to people, carried mints to give to people, always listened to everyone's problems and turned them into my own. I just wanted to be accepted and liked by everyone. However, I felt based on my character and who I was as a person, I would never be taken for granted. Boy, was I wrong. My friends would constantly rip on me and make fun of me, all in a joking way, of course. And instead of me firing back or having an intelligent comeback, I would constantly laugh it off and pretend to be having a good time. But it would honestly hurt inside. I would continuously show that I would care and would try to prove them wrong by retaliating verbally, but it would never matter. I was a complete softie. I then tried to speak with each of my friends that would make fun of me on a one-to-one basis. I would try to make them understand that I suffer from low self-esteem, especially when their comments hit me hard. They would understand in that specific moment, and it would briefly make me feel good confiding in them until we would be in a group setting again. I was a target all the time in social gatherings and group events. After I would be made fun of, I would always think about why they would make fun of me over long periods of times and would try to react in order to prove them wrong, which only made things worse. I just decided to go with it and accept it because I didn't have the social intelligence and confidence to retaliate back verbally. I was the male tool of the group and couldn't do anything about it. Why was I friends with people who treated me like this? I just wanted to be liked. Being respected meant nothing to me. With my mindset, I thought as long as I am nice to everyone, then everyone would like me and I would be accepted. It only gets worse. When it came to women, I failed miserably, and my friends would be on my case about it. Instead of trying to give me advice, they would sarcastically make fun of me as usual about all the women I would get. When in reality, I couldn't attract a woman if my life depended on it. Whenever a social gathering would occur, I would get anxious and excited because I would think that I would finally meet a woman and I would experience true happiness. Yet, when I would meet a woman, right away I would fall into the friend zone. A woman would say, "Manny, you are such a nice guy, and you're going to make a girl very happy." So I would eagerly say, "I want to make you happy." Then she would respond, "No, not me. I would just hurt you." That made me angry and confused. What was going on here? I thought the answer was getting a girl to feel complete within. Boy, was I wrong again. I felt I had such a great personality with so much to offer. What was my problem? How come I was constantly made fun of? How come no woman would bear to see me past the friend zone, even though I've always been decent looking? How are these two separate situations of not attracting women and being made fun of constantly by people correlated? Please be warned, what I'm about to share with you is the most emotionally painful night of my life, so get your tissues ready. And now back to that gorgeous sunny Saturday in June 2009. We were on our way to the casino in the limo ride for Sean's 25th birthday. Sean was one person who always took pleasure in devaluing me by making fun of me in social gatherings. When other people would see me respond with a weak reaction, more people would participate with Sean similarly by treating me the same way. While we were sitting in the limo, I was positioned across from Sean's fiancée, Pam, and her friend Alicia, who looked at me the same way Sean looked at me, a weak male that is an easy target to pick on. They asked me jokingly, "Manny, are you seeing any girls?" Me, being uncomfortable since I wasn't seeing anyone, answered flirtatiously, "These two girls right in front of me." Now you must be thinking, that sounds like a smart, fun response, but it wasn't. They laughed at me and Pam said I'm engaged, and Alicia really hurt me emotionally with her response. She said, "I'm not single," and then winked on purpose towards Pam, which got me angry. I started to care too much about Alicia's response. In my mind, I felt she was saying I am single, but would never date a weak guy like you. I felt too upset and even trying to fire a bad comeback. I started to drink my vodka tonic, look at my phone continuously, and waited until the ride was over to get to the casino. At this point, I felt safe that I wasn't made fun of too much by Sean, and nobody else noticed to pick on me on the way to the casino. Little did I know, I was about to experience a true definition of humiliation, the limo ride back to New York City. And I'm going to share this with you. After the casino, a bunch of us already had a couple of alcoholic beverages, and we went back into the limo. This whole time before stepping inside the limo, I was mentally afraid. I just anticipated for some reason that I was going to be made fun of by everybody in the limo. I was going to be the main target of everything as usual. When all 16 of us stepped back inside the limo to go back to New York City, I was positioned across from Sean and next to Sam. The next thing I knew, everyone was buzzed and drunk from drinking alcohol. The entire group then decided to play Truth or Dare. When I found out we were about to play this game, I predicted myself being an easy target. My prediction verdict came true. The Truth or Dare can be a fun game people can play when you don't care what people think about you. I was not one of those just yet. The first question was particularly directed at me. One girl named Alexia asked me Truth or Dare. I said truth. She asks, "Manny, what girl in the limo would you have sex with?" I felt so uncomfortable, didn't know how to answer a question like that, and started to display jittery and shaky motions. Other people were laughing at me on how uncomfortable my facial expressions looked. I just jokingly said, "You," and that's it. I wanted to be left alone, but it was my turn to ask a question. I was really hoping that this game would not get too personal. I was especially fearful of Sean picking on me as he usually would. I then asked Sean, Truth or Dare? Truth, he said. I then asked him a stupid question. Did you have fun on your birthday? Yes, he answered. See, I was hoping if I asked Sean a nice, simple question, then I would be left alone and not bothered until Sean then went back at me. Truth or Dare? I said truth. Sean asked me, who would you masturbate to in this limo? Right away, I knew what this was going to turn into, me being the laughing stock of a social gathering again. I jokingly said, you, Sean. He said, no, it has to be a girl. Now, what girl in this limo would you masturbate to? My heart was pounding. I felt so uncomfortable, sick to my stomach. How can he ask me something like that, especially with all these people in this limo? My anxiety increased. This was too personal for me. To be safe, I just answered Alexia, the same girl I answered the truth question to earlier and who I would have sex with in the limo. I then started to feel more anxiety and low value that I just wanted to jump out of this limo while it was moving. When I was selected again, I knew it was going to be embarrassing. The fear on my face was easily detected by everybody in the group setting, which made it far more entertaining for the group, but worse for me. Alicia, the girl who winked when answering she was not single earlier on the way to the casino, made a comment saying, "Poor Manny." I thought after that comment everybody would start to lay off me, but then of course it got worse, and I was asked another embarrassing truth question. Sean asked, who would you have a threesome with in the limo? I then tried to get off the hook and jokingly answered, you and Sam. He said, no, it has to be two girls in the limo. I couldn't take it anymore. I needed this limo ride to end. I was looking all over the place with fear, for help, for answers from other people to defend me. I then uncomfortably answered the girl next to me, Nadia, and the first girl who asked me the truth question on who I would have sex with, Alexia. It was my turn, and I couldn't think of anything smart to ask someone since I lacked social intelligence, and on top of that, I felt traumatized by these embarrassing questions being asked in front of everybody. I then thought, let me ask Sean the same question he asked me. I thought I'm going to give him a taste of his own medicine. Luckily, he said truth. So I asked Sean, who would you have a threesome with in the limo? He then comfortably answered quickly, my fiancée and her friend Alicia. How come it was so easy for him to answer an uncomfortable question like that, and not me? I also noticed that other people were being ripped on too, but realized that nobody was caring the way I did. Everybody was having fun except for me. My facial expressions and weak reactions were entertaining for everybody, but not me. Then Alexia received a dare this time. Unfortunately, I was involved in the dare. The dare was for Alexia to kiss the guy she was making out with that night, Dave, followed by kissing me right after. That dare seemed kind of gross too. Kind of felt like I was indirectly dared to kiss another guy. So, she went along with the dare and kissed Dave for a few seconds, and then kissed me right after. Now mind you, you may think, that's not so bad, you're getting a kiss from a girl. But this was a pity kiss. People were then saying, yeah, Manny's getting some. Yeah, I knew I was being tooled. I tried quietly telling Sam to have everyone leave me alone. Sam just laughed and said, okay. Everyone then continued to rip on me and devalue me even more. Finally, I was saved. We arrived back in New York. Before I stepped out of the limo, I said bye to everyone while trying to keep a straight face and show that this limo ride did not bother me at all. I stepped out of this limo ride and had the most disgusting sour taste in my mouth. Not from drinking, but from this humiliating experience. Why was everyone after me? I'm such a nice guy. Why am I made fun of all the time? Why do people give me shit? Why don't I have a girl? How come everybody I meet likes me at first and then looks down on me? Why do I care so much? All these questions were running through my head. I was taught to be nice to people. Every person I would continuously be nice to because it was so simple. Plus, it felt great to do for others. I felt I had such a great personality with so much to offer. What was my problem? How come no woman would dare to see me in a sexual way, even though I've always been a decent-looking guy with light eyes? The day after the limo ride, I received a text from Sean saying, "Great time, guys," and it wasn't a dream. Manny did get a kiss from a girl. With that disgusting sour taste still lingering in my mouth from the limo ride, being humiliated in front of so many people, all these unanswered questions going on in my mind, and after just receiving that text, it wasn't Sean or the group of the people that I was upset with. I realized it was me. I finally understood why in the limo ride Alicia winked when she said she was single. I was a weak beta male. I didn't know how to fire a comeback or react in a socially intelligent manner when I was devalued or made fun of. I didn't know how not to care. I had no game, no social intelligence, no girl, and I was going insane in my mind. In fact, Albert Einstein's famous quote came into my head on a definition of insanity. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. I was a very soft guy and came to the realization that I suffered from nice guy syndrome. Now, you may be thinking, is that even a real disease? Let me give you an idea of what nice guy syndrome is. Nice guy syndrome is an annoying mental condition in which a man portrays feminine behavior patterns that places people, especially women, on a pedestal. Typically, this man will whine about how women never want to date him because he is simply just too nice. This man will purposely get into the friend zone with a girl by showing no threat in going after her romantically, but would secretly have the expectation that he is owed more than a friendship because he is such a nice guy, especially towards her. He will hear this from the girl: "I can't sleep with you, you're such a good friend, I don't want to risk our friendship." Typically, the rejecting female friend will then date other men who are assholes and then whine about the assholes to the nice guy who would always be there for her. Did I have to go to the other extreme and being an asshole? I didn't even know how to be an asshole. It wasn't in me to display asshole behavior patterns. This was happening to me on a universal level. I would let other people and friends pick on me, make fun of me, devalue me without standing up for myself. When it came to women, it was worse. I always ended up in the friend zone. The connection between being made fun of from friends and not being able to attract women had to do with caring too deeply about what other people thought about me. I was a people pleaser. People's thoughts dictated how I felt about myself. The bottom line, I was uncomfortable in my own skin. This one humiliating June sunny day caused my entire life to change. I decided at that moment to make a transformation in my life. I would never be this way again. I made a commitment to read every book and crawl under every rock to eradicate nice guy syndrome once and for all, or I would die trying. I started to read books on human behavior and psychology. I then researched attraction and social intelligence. I attended seminars, did life coaching, and I discovered a pattern. Not only did I figure out how to be comfortable in my own skin, but I figured out I can still be a nice guy in the process. If I can do it, you can do it. I'll share my discovery with you in just a moment, so keep watching. Guys, picture this for a moment. Imagine each day you wake up and you are in full control on how you feel without people's thoughts dictating your actions. You have the freedom to display your true personality, accept your flaws, and comfortably make social mistakes without caring. Being comfortable in your own skin is how attraction is truly derived. 28 days from now, you will have the ability to improve your relationships with women, friends, and family comfortably. And be liked for who you are by destroying these weak, nice guy behavior patterns without people's thoughts affecting you in the process. Get ready to take notes, guys, because I'm about to share some free tips with you that are golden. The tip I'm about to share with you will bring out the edge in you by consciously identifying the so-called nice guy behavior patterns within yourself in order to improve your relationships with women, friends, and family. This makes you discover your true self and gives you the ability to enjoy social life without caring about what people think about you. Here's what you do. You must become aware that you are displaying the so-called nice guy behavior patterns when socializing with people. Otherwise, the edge will never come out. I'll explain these behavior patterns to look for when socializing with people and how to identify them in just a moment. But first, I need to warn you about the two most important and annoying behavior patterns that are a complete turn-off to people, especially women, that the so-called nice guys continuously repeat. This must be avoided at all costs in order for you to be comfortable in your own skin. These are probably the behavior patterns you think are mentally healthy as a man, and if you avoid them, then the true self in you will start to rise. If you want to control how you feel and not let the thoughts of other people dictate your actions, you must simply do this. Number 1, feeling the need to always agree with anyone, even if you really don't, just for the secret hopes of people liking you. And number 2, being afraid to state your own opinion out loud because you fear people will criticize you. The way to notice this in a social interaction is simple, but before I get into that, I want you to understand these concepts. First, guys that do suffer from these behavior patterns feel the need that they have to display perfect social behavior in front of other people just to be liked. For boys to become men, they have to accept their own flaws and the fact that nobody will ever be perfect, not even me. Secondly, everybody on this earth is human, and people's thoughts about you should never dictate how you feel. You dictate how you feel. Remember, you are not perfect, and nobody on earth is. Accept it, and you will start to notice that it feels good to be in control of yourself. Okay now, back to pulling this off in a simple social interaction. Number 1, if you notice you have a habit and constantly agree with others all the time just to be secretly liked, you must simply do the opposite. You must strive to disagree. Try this with a random stranger by sparking up a conversation about best restaurants, actors, movies, television, etc. Then disagree on purpose. Now I know what you're thinking. What if I genuinely agree with this person? Simple. Understand in your mind that this is just a test. Nobody's thoughts or opinions about you matter at all except for your own. Number 2, and secondly, when socializing with people and you have an opinion that you want to state but are too afraid to, ask yourself these 2 questions in your mind. Number 1, is my opinion statement perfect? And the next question, number 2, are these people going to dictate how I feel if I express my opinion? No matter what, take the action and state your opinion, even if it's the worst illogical opinion ever, because nobody dictates how you feel, except for yourself. Try this by sparking up a conversation with a random stranger about TV, movies, best cities to visit, foods, etc., and give your opinion no matter how bizarre it is. The more you do this, the more you'll start to care less of what other people think by discovering your true self, which I will go into further in just a moment, so keep watching. Once you begin to disagree and you start stating your opinion with random people, you will notice in most social interactions with women, friends, and family, you will not be taken for granted. This way, your likability will soar, knowing the fact that you have a mind of your own by having no fear in disagreeing with others and having the freedom to express your own opinions. Just imagine you're in a conversation with a gorgeous woman and you want her to like you. Knowing the fact that you continuously agree with her and you fear to express your own opinions, she will think, hey, he's just a nice guy. However, when you disagree with her and have no fear to state your own opinion, her interest level towards you will increase because you are not afraid of who you are. Women are wired to go for a man that is comfortable in his own skin. That can be you. Now here's another tip. It's how I learned to enjoy being comfortable in my own skin by actually making the process fun. Let's face facts. If you are comfortable in your own skin, your social life with women, friends, and family will improve drastically. This means you get to develop and maintain authentic relationships without trying to force people to like you. Here's the trick. Most of you are here because you are the so-called nice guy that wants to do well with women. You frustratingly end up in the friend zone and you fear what others think about you. You want to improve yourself as a man. Make sure you're taking notes. I want you to paint a vivid picture for yourself. Write down 3 specific examples that have not happened yet about your biggest fear in a social setting. For example, you may have fear to approach an attractive woman with a group of people in the bar. A lot can be going on in your head. Is your boyfriend going to be there? What do I say? She won't like me. Other people will laugh at me. Another example, being humiliated by people just because you expressed your own opinion. Write down 3 specific examples that you fear of happening. Now, after your 3 specific examples are written down, you're going to select one and visualize the fear that you selected in a social setting. Now, I know what you're thinking. I thought this was supposed to be fun. I'll get to that. Just keep watching. I'm going to guide you on this visualization experience. Think of this as a guided mini meditation that will help you overcome your fear. Make sure you have selected one of the fearful situations that you have written down. We are now going to take a journey together and conquer that fear through visualization. Ready? Let's go. Close your eyes and listen to my voice guide you. I want you to visualize a time in your life when you felt fear in a specific social situation. I want you to use your 5 senses. Feel the air across your skin, the sense of smell of the environment, the energy of the people around you. What are you wearing? What are you seeing? I want you to increase this fear by adding people that you genuinely care about in your vision. Imagine these people laughing at you and rejecting you, whether it's friends, girlfriends, and ex-girlfriends. I want you to identify the emotion you are feeling. Feel like this moment is happening right now. As you focus on the emotion you feel in this vision, do not fight it, accept it. I want you to now take 3 deep breaths through your abdominals and breathe out that fear. First deep breath. Second deep breath. Third deep breath. Now open your eyes. Repeat this visualization image for 20 minutes a day so it becomes boring. When fear becomes boring, you will stop creating these stories in your head. It will feel like you have already been in the worst humiliating social situation and that you are ready for anything. You must feel the emotions of fear to overcome fear. By envisioning your most fearful moment that has not happened yet with your 5 senses and knowing how to act in any situation involving humiliating and or embarrassing moments, you'll feel in more control and develop social freedom in any situation. You know you have conquered fear by having fun with it. Can you see yourself being free from other people's thoughts about you? You have the freedom to spark up a conversation with anyone, improve your relationships, and dictate your own actions without the thoughts of others affecting you. Okay, remember I mentioned earlier about bringing out the edge in you by identifying those nice guy syndrome behavior patterns and how this can improve your relationships with women, friends, and family? This is the most important tip of all. If you get this wrong, nothing else will work, and you will just continue to feel uncomfortable in your own skin and continuously display annoying nice guy behavior habits, even if you put all the other tips to work. Let me tell you, if you do not do this, all the other tips are really worthless. This tip is that important for you to improve your social life with women, friends, and family. There is nothing more empowering, more freeing than knowing you have control over your feelings and actions. Never having to worry about people's thoughts dictating your actions or displaying perfect social behavior just to secretly be liked. So let's cure that worry and bring out that edge right now. Men with the so-called nice guy behavior patterns are not a challenge when it comes to women or building relationships with people. This is why I developed this unique edge system. First off, what is an edge? You must be thinking an edge is like being a bad boy. Having an edge means you can either take the role of a bad boy or be a nice guy. If you notice on the model above, you have the nice guy on the left-hand side of the spectrum and the asshole on the right-hand side of the spectrum. Edge is middle ground, which means balance. Mainly, a man with an edge is in complete control of his own behavior and centered in the middle by being defined as a good guy. Every man has an edge, but it's all about bringing it out, especially with men that suffer from nice guy syndrome. The problem is these nice guy behavior patterns block the edge from coming out. Ready for the number one core behavior pattern? The number one core behavior pattern that men with nice guy syndrome go through is approval-seeking behavior. Remember earlier I spoke about this? What is approval-seeking behavior? The approval and decisions of others mean more to you than your own. A common pattern would be knowing the answer to something already and still seeking reassurance just for approval. There is a difference between genuinely wanting advice from someone and consistently needing advice from someone. When you sincerely don't know the answer to something and want an opinion from someone, he or she will give you his or her perspective and you will figure out a way on your own to take action. Knowing the answer already, and when you constantly want advice and or reassurance from someone, you will let them dictate your actions and you will never figure it out for yourself, because their approval will mean more than the actual action. Receiving approval is a great feeling, but can turn into an addiction. Plus, you are indirectly giving your power away to people. Unfortunately, it's a behavior pattern that can be unattractive and displays a sign of a weak man. A man with nice guy syndrome is an approval-seeking addict, like the way a drug addict is of crack. This specific behavior pattern blocks the edge in you from coming out. Now that you know the core behavior pattern with nice guy syndrome, which is approval seeking, you must write down a few examples in social situations where you would seek approval from others to dictate your own actions. Now, there are several other nice guy syndrome behavior patterns that need to be eradicated, but you absolutely must destroy this core behavior pattern. Remember, these behavior patterns create an imbalance in your thought patterns. The written examples should help you discover your patterns. Once again, check out the EDGE model. Approval seeking behavior puts you in the imbalance spectrum. Here is my 100% triple guarantee. Nice Guys with an Edge is valued at $107, and for a good reason, because it includes the behavior patterns that the so-called nice guy portrays, such as try-hard behavior, always needing to fix a situation, being a doormat, and the core behavior pattern, approval-seeking. This also includes weak behavior patterns and traits that men constantly portray that land them in the friend zone, along with true embarrassing stories that have happened to me and how I was able to identify these behavior patterns by using the 4 simple steps with the EDGE system. And if I were to sell you the bonuses separately, the value would be over $307. Yet you're not going to pay $307. You're not going to pay $207. You're not even going to pay $107. You're only going to pay a total of $37. In fact, I'm going to share the EDGE system with you now for free in order to bring you back to balance. There are 4 steps. Step 1, conscious awareness, being alert and aware of your thought patterns. Why? Well, you will know the moment you feel imbalanced or disconnected during or after a social situation. Step 2, being the observer of thought patterns, being like a third person and watching your actual thoughts. Why? Well, when you listen to your thoughts from a third perspective, you start to gain control of yourself. Then, you will take 5 deep breaths through your abdominals. Step 3, identifying the emotion, being able to identify the emotion on how you feel. Why? Well, identifying an emotion is extremely important to approval seekers or nice guys. They are emotionally blocked and must know how to relax an emotion. Accepting the emotion, step 4. Being able to accept the way you feel, whether it's a good or bad emotion. Why? Well, if you try to fight an emotion with your thoughts, you will create an inner conflict that will result in old thought patterns and or imbalance you. This system is your ticket out of nice guy syndrome behavior. or of ever feeling like you can't go out, approach women, talk to strangers, and improve your social life by still being a nice guy at the same time. By noticing this core behavior pattern, you are able to develop a mind of your own instead of having other people dictate your actions. Let the edge come out. Imagine your life being freed from the thoughts of others, and you love every single moment of it. Doesn't that feel absolutely awesome? And wouldn't you love to get started today, right now, by destroying your nice guy behavior habits and bringing out the edge in you? Unlike any other expensive dating products, Nice Guys with an Edge gives you a prerequisite by providing a simple system in order to bring out your true self, in order to apply dating advice with a more clear-cut mindset for only a third of the price. Here's what Nice Guys with an Edge provides. Number 1, dissects the mindset of a so-called nice guy and teaches you how to balance yourself when unproductive and annoying thought patterns affect you. 2, breaks down the so-called nice guy syndrome behavior habits such as approval seeking and trying too hard to be liked and accepted from others. 3, determining your own value as a man. 4, developing the proper conversational mindset on how to speak to women and people. 5, bringing out the edge in a nice guy with the unique mindful system I created. The main purpose is learning how to be comfortable in your own skin in order to improve yourself with women and relationships with people. When you pick up Nice Guys with an Edge today, not only will you experience a greater peace of mind, but knowing that you finally discovered a solution to improving your relationships, you will also begin your fast track to, number 1, destroying those nice guy behavior patterns ingrained in you. 2, being comfortable in your own skin. 3, bringing the edge out in you. Or you can keep doing what you're doing now and just hope things will change. Doing nothing is a surefire way to get nothing in return. And I know you want more out of your life than just to keep struggling with being uncomfortable in your own skin year after year. Destroying these so-called nice guy behavior patterns is like wiping out a virus permanently in the hard drive of your computer. Developing an edge is like installing high-tech software within yourself with continuous upgrades. The greatest thing about Nice Guys with an Edge is that you learn how to be comfortable in your own skin, which means you don't have to have unconscious approval-seeking thoughts haunt you. You will also receive a bonus product known as the Approach Anxiety Cure. Now you must be thinking, did I find a cure to AIDS too? I have devised a simple structured system on how to alleviate approach anxiety when approaching women or strangers, including this bonus product. 1, destroying the perfect approach myth. 2, creating action affirmations. 3, exercises to developing your own openers. And, most importantly, a simple structured model to bring out your approach anxiety down whenever you want. And I'm going to share this model with you for free right now. There are 3 different levels of approach anxiety. High anxiety. This is when you have so much anxiety where you can't even ask a stranger for directions or the time. Medium anxiety. You can approach strangers or women, but you still have anxiety and cannot hold a conversation. Comfortable anxiety. This is the minimal anxiety that you want to feel when you approach, with the ability to hold a conversation. You can even use the edge system in order to identify what level of anxiety you would be at when approaching women or strangers. When applying the model, this will bring you down to comfortable anxiety, which is where you want to be at when you approach women. Like I said earlier, Nice Guys with an Edge normally cost $107. And if you are not able to identify the nice guy syndrome behavior patterns, if you don't feel or experience an edge within yourself, or even if you don't like the audio or my voice, I will refund your money within 60 days. When you purchase Nice Guys with an Edge today, you will want to turn immediately to 13 minutes and 48 seconds in the audio because I give a clear breakdown of nice guy syndrome behavior patterns. Before I tell you about the success others are seeing with Nice Guys with an Edge, let me first tell you who would never fit as a Nice Guys with an Edge customer. This would never work with a guy who feels he is too nice, swallows a pill, and he all of a sudden wakes up with an edge. Or a guy that lacks self-discipline and willpower to just listen and not apply the content. Let's hear what professional dating coach Justin Wayne has to say. I fully endorse Manny Blake's product. I watch Manny evolve as a man, and he really dives in deep in breaking down how weak beta men act in society. Most of my clients that I have coached come to me with most of the behavior patterns that Manny describes and systematically helps eradicate. He introduces a simple, powerful system that truly gives you the proper conversational mindset to interact and attract women. Here's what grad student Dan Reiser had to say. Before getting this product, I was suffering from low self-esteem and confidence, especially with women. In my desperate attempts to seek approval from women, I became a weak beta male who allowed others to determine the way I felt about myself. The slightest positive or negative response from a woman would determine whether I was up on cloud 9 or down at rock bottom. Women sensing this weakness and vulnerability would invariably put me in the friend zone. But thanks to Manny's Nice Guys with an Edge, I am now in greater control over my emotional state. I've learned to achieve emotional balance, and as a result, I'm now able to determine my own value as a man. Women now see a more confident and self-assured man. Manny helped me to bring out this edge, and it's paying dividends. Nice Guys with an Edge is ideally positioned to empower you to eradicate weak male behavior and do it faster than ever. Click the add to cart below and get started today. Just for $37, you can destroy those weak behavior patterns and bring out the edge in you. After you click the add to cart, you will be directed to a safe, secure checkout page. Then, you'll immediately be taken to the members login page, and just to be 100% certain, we'll email you the download link. Today marks the day you take action and bring out the edge in you. To take the action necessary, put an end to that weak male beta behavior and rejuvenate yourself as a man. Wisely reclaim your natural powers of manhood and live this life the way you were meant to, with complete abundance and total freedom of choice. Click the Add to Cart orange rectangular button below and let's bring the edge out of you now.